I would like to congratulate the Youth Envoy, Ms. Aya Shebi, for keeping the track and organizing this youth webinar today, May 25th, which is the African Union 57th celebration. Indeed, by this, the need for youth to be given space and a voice cannot be underscored. I want to welcome every one of you to the first of our conversation series on the youth response to the coronavirus pandemic on behalf of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency, Dr. Musa Faki Mahamat. Over the next few weeks, we'll be using this platform to have conversations with you, Africa's youth, both home and abroad, on how you can play your part in the continent's response to COVID-19. We remember that our Africans in the diaspora constitute the 6th region of the African Day is celebration is under the theme Silencing the Guns by 2020, creating conducive conditions for Africa's development and intensifying the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Like I said, on May 25, 1963, 57 years ago, Africa wrote her name on the sands of time by the foundation of the Organization of African Unity that in 2012 became the OAU that became African Unity in 2015. Sons and daughters of Africa, you are the promise of Africa today and tomorrow. The spread of COVID-19 across Africa has affected day-to-day social life in Africa. Who are the most affected by it is you, the youth of Africa, our demographic asset. But again, you can only be a demographic asset if only you are empowered and capacitated. It goes without saying that the COVID-19 pandemic, arguably the black swan event of our lifetime, is currently disrupting life as we know it in all sorts of ways. Each event, each and every single one of us are personally affected by this global mean that they are missing many months of school. For low-skilled youth in informal employment and young entrepreneurs, this means threatened job or even job loss. Isolation and quarantine measures result in implications on the mental health of youth. Without access to socializing with family and friends, leisure activities, sports, etc., the mental and physical health of our young people are at risk. It is also important to note that along with the rest of the population, young people are susceptible to coronavirus. It is clear that we as a continent need to be proactive. Mitigation measures of coronavirus will last significantly longer than the pandemic. It will take some time to return to what we know as normal, because right now we need to do business as unusual. And indeed, in some cases, we will have to find a new normal. We have to be agile to continue on and accelerate our development trajectory in Africa. The vision of the African Union is that vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own competent and skilled citizens. If our youth of Africa, who constitute more than half of the population of Africa, and who we refer to as our demographic asset, are not given opportunities or are not considered in the different measures we are using to mitigate COVID-19, then definitely we are yet to start giving solutions to the problems we are facing. We all have a role to play. Governments and institutions have a duty to our youth to provide safety, security, and opportunities to minimize the disruption to lifestyles and livelihoods, and ensure that young people survive and thrive as best as we can through the crisis and beyond. In this light, we're going to convene a virtual meeting of the Specialized Technical Committee on Youth Sports and Culture and the one on youth will be in June 17th. Young people have and this is a ministerial meeting where we need to speak to the ministers on how they will be able to fill in the youths at their country levels. Young people have a responsibility as citizens to put their knowledge, expertise, and creativity towards strengthening communities and finding solutions to old and new problems aggravated by COVID-19. In 2019, the African Union chairperson, His Excellency Dr. Musa Faki Mahamat, launched the 1 million by 2021 initiative to provide opportunities for young Africans in the areas of education, employment, entrepreneurship, and engagement. The advent of COVID-19 does not mean that we take our eyes away from this goal. What it therefore means is that we demonstrate our resilience and ingenuity by seeking opportunities in times of crisis and adapting our models to respond to COVID-19 influences on education, employment, entrepreneurship, and engagement. Consequently, young people are an important target group, and the African Union Commission is supporting you through your Youth Envoy, the health campaign to improve self-care, and the promotion of learning initiatives to provide opportunities for online or continued learning. All these initiatives involve mobilizing, orienting, conversations with, and support for young people in taking action. Today, we are going to have a conversation which attempts to answer why us and what can we do. When I say why us, I'm also a youth, so that is why us. I believe in Africa's youth and what you can create with your incomparable brilliance. I'm excited to hear your discussions and your ideas on how we can all play our part to uphold our continent through this global crisis, as well as recovery and rebuilding in the aftermath. Dynamic Youth of Africa, I believe in the power of youth to change Africa positively only if leaders are able to give space and room for co-creation and profiling of solutions to the problems we have. Together with the Youth Envoy, we launched the Africa Front with the Commissioner for Social Affairs. And this is very, very important because many of the frontline workers working on this epidemic are the youth of Africa. As the African Union Commission, we remain fully committed to ensuring that young Africans stay educated, employed, and education. We must continue to walk the talk, moving beyond rhetorics and working towards achieving the Africa we want.